All right, welcome back. So this is our old guy. We're not going to need him. Let's go ahead and hide our original character mesh. I'm going to create a new collection here, and we're going to go ahead and import what we just downloaded from Mixamo. So go ahead and import an FBX. All right. So look for where we downloaded our character. It might be named after the actual animation. So I'm going to go ahead and click idle, which is the name of the animation, and I'm going to get my running one. Be sure to ensure that every other animation that you've downloaded is without skin. Okay, it just saves the extra step of having to delete the mesh data from every new instance of animation. Now we're going to go through how essentially to apply all of these extra animations to our main character. So here we have our character. The first thing you may notice, here let me hide this because we don't need that visible. So when we play, you can kind of see him moving, all right, but he's animated. So the first thing that we're gonna probably notice is the materials may not have transferred correctly from Mixamo. But luckily, since the mesh data is precisely the same, okay, you should be able to go back in, click the meshes here. Okay, so here's our actual character mesh data right here. If we go to the material properties, in the properties tab, so we click materials. All right, working kind of slow for me because I'm working with a little bit lower hardware. So all of these, you can kind of go ahead and just revert them back to what it was before. So, you know, like your original one. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that to apply my character's original mesh data. There you go. Okay, so basic soldier character short. You can just apply all the materials back. All right, with their original ones. So like, for example, my character's hair is looking pretty weird. So let me see if I can go ahead and just revert back to one of the original ones, and there you go. Okay, for my character's high poly eye material, just revert back to the originals, and now we have an animated and textured character. All right, so just be sure to take a look at this. You might have to do this for a lot of meshes that may have gotten lost through the Mixamo pipeline. All right, but it's not a really large step, and it doesn't take a lot of time to do. Okay, so I'm going to move back to the tongue material, and then of course get our beard back. All right, and that kind of resets the materials there. All right, I'm not going to do that for the other ones due to lack of time. All right, so now we have our character who's animated, but we want to add more animations to him. Oh, another thing that's important to note. Okay, so remember when it technically didn't modify the vertex of the meshes at all? That's a good thing because if you notice, these shape keys for the expressions are preserved. So not only can we just animate our character, but we can actually animate these values too. All right. And in Blender, that's fairly easy to do. All you simply have to do is when you have an animation playing, you know, say you want to make him like yawn or scream, you can just press I over this value, move the keyframes. Okay, change it to something, press another I. Okay, to insert a new keyframe, and then move it a little bit more, and then, you know, change it back to another value. And there you go. Ideally, the keys would actually appear over here on the timeline, but for properties like this, sometimes they don't. All right, but now, not only is he moving, but he's kind of screaming too. So that's why we did the thing with the different base meshes and whatnot. All right, so on to actually adding different animations to this guy. We're going to switch this to non-linear animation. All right, we're also going to name our character here. Okay, so we have our main character and they have their idle animation applied. Okay, what we want to do is we want to push this animation down as an action. All right, that basically allows you to recycle this animation, use it anywhere throughout the actual timeline. Okay, that's essentially how the non-linear animation editor works. It's pretty uh, pretty amazing. All right, it's good to give these more descriptive names. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and name this one idle. All right, you can repeat this animation if you'd like. So by going on this side here, if it's not visible, this panel, press N to make it visible. All right, and keep in mind we're in the non-linear animation editor too. All right, so if you scroll through here, there's this option where you can repeat the animation. And once I type that to 5, it will repeat 5 times. All right, there's so much more you can do here. You can even add modifiers to them. But the interesting part is you can actually add more animations on top of this, literally. So I click this no action area here, and notice this appears empty. You can, because we imported that other armature that is the same armature as ours but has different animation data, we can actually go through and select that. So click that here, and what do you know? It applies that animation to this armature here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and if we play, of course, it shows them running. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and push this down as an action. All right, and theoretically, if you applied more, you can keep on doing that, and then you can arrange these wherever you want in the actual animation or production that you're making. All right, now we do have one slight problem here. It's holding that same animation right here, but it's not using my idle. Why isn't it going back to the idle animation? Why is it just using the running one and just holding like the last frame? We have this extrapolation for some reason by default on this panel here. It's set to hold. Okay, I typically utilize nothing, and when doing that, now when we were to scrub through or play the animation, okay, it will slowly kind of, well, not slowly, here it suddenly merges into it and then goes back. But you can actually modify that and make it a little bit more gradual. What we're going to do here is we're going to click this, go to repeat. Let's just do 10 times. All right. And there is options where you can do auto blending. So I'm going to go ahead and click that and see what Blender does for blending. And it's not too good. It's very, very sudden still. Okay. Yeah, so it's better to have it on replace. Let's do blend in. Let's try doing 20 keyframes here. Okay. Now when we do that, so it's gonna blend in for 20 keyframes. Does that make sense? So when we set this to 20, okay, it is going to kind of merge them for about 20 keyframes, and then it's gonna kind of gradually transition. Blend out is the same thing. Okay, it's just for like when the actual animation, you know, ends. So let's go ahead and do 350 here. Okay, so notice when he gets to the ending of the run cycle, he's just going to stop, just like boom, right? We don't want that. Let's go ahead and edit the blend out to 20 as well. All right, and now he's stopping. Perfect. All right, and you can do this with multiple animations and just stack them upon each other. All right, at this point though, you essentially have pretty much an animated character. I recommend going in and figuring out how to name these right here with actual useful names. So I call this running. All right, but essentially that's pretty much it. That is the character workflow right there. That didn't involve a lot. You can get a lot of pre-made meshes online if you want, or from, you know, Make Human's asset store. So, you know, and you can get the animations from Mixamo. All right.